People think real estate's feast or famine. It's the most predictable, guaranteed income you can ever earn if you're willing to do the work. Now, what's the work? And this is where the and relationship comes into play. This is where the freedom comes into play, that you can go to church and not have to, check your text messages at church. This is where you can go to your kid's ball game on Friday night and turn your phone off because you have enough business that everything will be just fine. And it'll be fine even if you don't have enough business. But we live such a reactionary life, we're never free. All we're doing is building our own prison.
You didn't get into real estate to miss your life. But I think a lot of agents quietly wake up one day and realize the business they built isn't giving them the freedom they thought it would. It's demanding more time, more energy, more attention, and somewhere along the way, that success starts to feel heavy. Because, guys, here's the truth. Bigger doesn't always mean better. Sometimes bigger just means more people depending on you, more complexity, and less margin and freedom and time for the things that actually matter most. So what does it look like to build a business that actually supports your life instead of slowly consuming it? That's what we're getting into today. All right, before we jump into this amazing episode, and I highly encourage you, listen to this all the way to the end. I know that's hard as agents for us to finish anything, but finish this episode. I want to give you a quick dad joke. Why didn't the skeleton go to church? Oh man, this is even corny for me. That's saying something. Because he had no body to go with. All right, let's dive into this episode. Today, I am joined by Jason Shinpaugh, a real estate team leader, entrepreneur, and someone who has spent years helping agents rethink what success is actually supposed to look like. Jason has been in real estate for nearly 3 decades and has experienced both sides of the industry. He built the traditional high-producing team model that so many agents chase, but eventually realized that bigger didn't automatically mean better, and that success without freedom comes with a real cost. Over the years, Jason intentionally redesigned both his business and his life around simplicity, sustainability, and freedom. He and his family have spent years traveling full-time while still running a successful business remotely. And today, he's passionate about helping agents stop building businesses that consume them and start building businesses that actually support the life they want. What sets Jason apart is he's not just talking about production. He's talking about intentional business design, long-term sustainability, and building a business that gives you freedom instead of slowly taking it away. And on a personal note, Jason is a personal friend, man, and we align in so many things, buddy. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for joining me and our faithful agent audience today. Buddy, just go ahead and say hi, and then we are going to dive right in, man. So thank you again for joining us, Jason. Say hello, buddy, and let's jump right into the conversation.
Well, I'm honored that you invited me to be on your show, so thank you for that. I appreciate it very much.
100%, man. I'm excited that you're here. So yeah, we're going to jump right in. You've said in the past, Jason, that at one point you realized in your business you hadn't built freedom, you'd actually built a prison. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, if you follow the industry, they say you just have to build the team, right? And the team is what's going to set you free. And you build leverage and you build all of these things. But what you're really doing is building liabilities that you have no control over. So your income is tied to other people and what they're willing or unwilling to do. In my case, when I was running my team at its peak, I had 4 full-time ISAs. I had an ops manager, a transaction manager, a listing manager, a marketing manager, a courier, a bookkeeper, 6 to 8 buyer's agents, 2 to 4 listing partners, completely out of production. And I was broke in. And what I realized was I had just built brick by brick my own prison. I couldn't get out. Right? I had so much going on, and the only way for me to get out was just to leave, which is what we did. In hindsight, maybe not the best solution, but I was so broken I just didn't care. Right? My give a darn button was shattered, and I would fall asleep in the chair at night watching my kids and wife have dinner while I'm exhausted and asleep trying to provide. So I just made things way too complicated. And I think we follow this path that everybody says, oh, you got to build a team, you got to build a team, you got to build a team. And, I'm now a big fan of building organizations versus teams, because organizations limit liability and obligation. And then you can help the people that want to be helped and not beg the people to do what you need to do so you win.
Hmm. Man, what were the warning signs for you? Like, what did that look like to say? You say you just get out, right? You just got to get away. What are some of the warning signs, or were there warning signs that maybe you just missed along the way to say, man, I agree with you. The industry has told us that the way to build freedom is build a big team. And like you, I don't know anyone that's actually done that. And I've been around a lot of big teams like you have, where it sounds theoretically good, but they run into the same challenges that all of us, like, how do I have agent retention, right? How do I get the agents to do things? Maybe I can step away and hit the seventh quote unquote level team, which, if anybody's read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, it's a book. You walk away from the business, somebody else runs it. That's theoretically sounds good. I don't know anyone that's doing that, right? That does that long term and doesn't have to jump back in all the time. So what are some of these warning signs, Jason, that you were seeing? If you were seeing them, how does someone who's listening know, hey, maybe that's me? And maybe they don't have a big, massive team, but they're building a prison instead of freedom. What do you think are some of those warning signs?
Well, I'll give you some perspective of one thing you said. Mine made it 2 years without me there. That
Hmm.
was it.
Hmm.
That was it. 2 years,
Man.
and it was done. And for me, it was the emotional toll of the people coming and going, of people who were a part of my life. And, they were at my barbecue on Sunday afternoon, hanging out by the pool, on the boat. Our kids are playing. And then Monday morning, they walk into my office, and not only do they quit, then they want to drive me over with a car. Right?
Yeah.
Not really, but you understand. Like, it just, like, the relationships were just shredded. And I'm like, how do we travel? How do we go on vacation? How do we have this amazing life that we're living together? And then in 24 hours, you want nothing to do with me. You never spoke to me again. Like, it was a crazy thing. And look, I can look back and say all sorts of things that I could have done better as a leader. Because I certainly don't think that it's all everybody's fault. I'm actually really grateful for it. It's caused me to live a life I would have never, ever dreamed of. So, that's how God shows up in our life, right? We think we're going down this path and we have it all figured out. And it's like, nope, just kidding. Yahtzee. Dice on the table, all sixes, out the door you go. And, and that's what happened to us. So I'm incredibly grateful for that season of my life. I'm incredibly grateful for all those people. They all played a role in where I sit today. We've been 10 years full time on the road traveling, 1 decade. And I have 2 kids. They're amazing. They're now 16 and 19, and they were 6 and 8 when we started. And we've been all over the country. We spent last summer in Alaska. So all of that to say, all those things that happened in that season, they all happened for me. They didn't happen to me. But in the middle of it, it sucked. I mean, let's just be honest. You're turning through people, and you have people that come into your life who are never sold real estate, maybe sold a little bit of real estate. You help them become successful. They leave. You rinse, you repeat, and it was just a treadmill of emotions I could no longer handle. That's ultimately what drove me out the door.
Man. You made mention of building organizations instead of teams. What does that mean?
Well, I think that you have to have people that are swimming to your boat. And if you don't have people that are swimming to your boat, begging them to swim to your boat is what will cause you to ultimately drown. And that's what happened when I look back at it all. These people drowned me. I got out of my boat to go and try and save them, and they didn't want to be saved, or they didn't want to be saved in the way that I thought they should be saved. And that was a leadership fault of mine, not in a bad way. I wanted more for them. I wanted better for them, but ultimately it wasn't what they wanted. And I didn't do a great job of meeting people where they were in that season of their lives, because I always just wanted more for them. I'm like, there's more out there. There's more. And, I think understanding that everybody has a different path, right? And when you really get down to it, if somebody's going to swim to your boat, they're going to win with or without you, but they could just win a little faster and a little bigger with you, because we can do more together, right? And I think building an organization is you can still help people get what they want, and you can get what you want.
Hmm.
right? So in a team model, it's very much an or relationship. You're
Hmm.
either on the team or you're not.
Hmm.
And when you build an organization, it creates an and relationship. You can be a part of my world. I can help you. I can pour into you, and I'll help you grow whatever you want to grow. So we can both benefit. It becomes win-win versus most team models are win-lose.
Hmm.
Team leaders will jump up and down and say, that's not true. I give them all this. I do all. I get it. But the reality of it is, at the end of the day, it is a win-lose situation, some
Hmm.
form or fashion.
Hmm. It's hard, well, so in transparency, both Jason and I are in the same organization at EXP. So any agent that's listening, it's like, man, how do I be in the world with these guys without paying them a split? Text me, right? We'll talk, and we'll talk with Jason, 804-878-2200. It's in the show notes too, guys. Reach out. We'd love to talk to you. But it's interesting, Jason, because I was just at a meeting with an agent who's on a team right now who's trying to figure out the same thing. And that was the conversation. What she realized, she said this to me. What she realized was, look, as I was growing and my business was getting better, I realized that what they could offer me was no longer what's best for me. And there's no animosity. I just need to leave. I need to not be there anymore. Right. And the challenge of every team or an agent that's listening that's on a team or considering a team, it doesn't mean teams are bad, right? It doesn't mean that going on a team is not a good idea for a while, right? But the natural challenge is my job as team leader is to keep you where you are. Because if you create too much independence, it's exactly what you said, Jason. It's rinse and repeat over and over and over again. And that is exhausting. I need agents that will stick around and stay. But if I teach you, I think, the appropriate way from an eternal perspective to say, maybe how do I be a king or queen maker, not the king? Then all I'm doing is creating agents who have competition in traditional, real estate models. That's a terrible thing. And so I know we're both thankful for the EXP model because we put them in our organization. They go and they crush it and they win, and we get to continue to support them. That's good. It's a win-win, and that's a blessing. But a lot of agents aren't experiencing that, right? For agents right now, Jason, that are on a team or considering a team, speak to them. The agent who is saying, well, I'm on a team and I'm not sure if this is the right place for me. Maybe my team leader's burning out, or am I getting what I should be getting? What kind of questions should they be asking themselves as they process through, are they in the right place?
Well, I think it's very simple. Is there a pathway to get what they want
Hmm.
financially, personally, time, all of those things? Because it ultimately is about us,
Hmm.
right? And what you find is most people go to a team because they want leads,
Yeah.
because nobody's taught them to build a business.
Yeah.
And that becomes the handcuff, is the leads. I'm a big fan of, let's become a great real estate business owner and not live your life as a real estate agent. As a
Hmm.
real estate agent, you spend all of this time in a reactionary state because you never have enough business to be consistent. And as long as it's reactionary, you're always reacting to everybody else's life.
Hmm.
Every buyer that calls you, you're jumping up and leaving your family on Sunday afternoon. You're doing all these things because nobody's teaching you to grow a real estate business.
Hmm.
Your
Yeah.
team leader is not teaching you to grow a real estate business. They're teaching you to call leads back in 4 minutes. They're
Hmm.
teaching you the scripts. They're teaching you to use the CRM. All well and good. I'm not discounting that, but they're not teaching you to get free.
Hmm.
They're trying to leverage you so they can become free.
Hmm.
And I think it's a failing model because the people that are the best, they ultimately leave. And then the team leader's left holding the basket again, going back to the young lady that you were speaking about. At some point you go like, I'm giving away half or 30% or 40%, whatever the number is. For what? Right?
Hmm.
For what? And this is not knocking teams. I think there's a place, but I think if you restructure the word team and put organization, that means that you can have opportunity through me and I'll help you grow whatever you want to grow. See, that's
Hmm.
the and
Hmm.
versus the team. You have to stay under my umbrella or you have to leave.
Hmm.
And that was what was happening to me, is the or, when they left, fractured the relationships that I had.
Hmm.
Because if I'm honest, I didn't have a pathway for them to get what they wanted.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
all ties back together.
Yeah, it does. It's so hard because And I started on a team. I've had a team, right? I think teams, like you said, absolutely have their place of but we need team leaders who lead with an open hand, right? And say, I'm going to teach you what you need to know. I want you to grow and go. That's a good thing, right? It's a good godly thing. But that will wear out a team leader, to your point, right? That's what happened to you. It's not that these team leaders, I mean, some of them, but most of them are not coming from a place of how do I, screw over my agent and get
That's
as
right.
much from them as possible. That's not true at all. It's just that the model itself is difficult, right? Because you are asking entrepreneurs to come live in your entrepreneurial world, but not be full entrepreneurs, right? Just kind of take what you can give them right now, build a business big enough, but not too big. I mean, I was even in a local brokerage that I really love and I have a lot of respect for. I had a team. I went over there for 9 months. I was Keller Williams, left, went over there for 9 months, ended up back at Keller Williams before I moved to EXP. And I went to them and said, hey, I love it here, right? I really do love it here, but your model has just got me stuck. It was 80-20 split. That was the best I could get. It didn't make sense for a team. There's no cap, right? And so I just said, look, here's the reality. Like, I either have to charge my agents more, which I don't want to do, right? Or I got to leave. Like, I've got to change something. Can you give me a better deal? The answer was no, which is their right? Because it's their business. I totally understand. But the problem was, even in their model, it was too small that if I was going to try to accomplish what I wanted to do, which ultimately was going to help my agents do what they wanted to do, it was going to hurt that brokerage. And so they said no. Again, totally within their right. I'm not offended by that. But the problem is looking for a model that says we're about growth for anybody in any way that you want it. I love, like, my business partner, Dave Caggiano, started on his team. We're back in business together at EXP. But what he always said is when he made a shift, it's because he was looking at what models exist out there where my team agents could actually have the same thing that me, the team leader, have, right? He was talking about stock and revenue share and those opportunities that didn't exist in other places. How do we actually help our team agents build the life that they want to build while we're building ours side by side? And it feels like, and I know, Jason, we know each other some, not great, but what everyone has told me is you are such a great side-by-side kind of guy, right? I'm going to come side by side with you. We're going to build something together. Sometimes that means I'm behind you, lifting you up. Sometimes it means I'm in front of you, pulling you. Sometimes they're doing the same thing for you, right? But the reality is, I think you have to, agents, pay attention to what is the business model, AKA the world, the brokerage world that you live in, to say, is this actually encouraging and giving me the opportunity of what I'm looking for? So, Jason, I'm going to switch a little bit here because I want you to talk more about freedom, because I don't know that most agents know how to define that. And I would say a lot of agents think, well, freedom just means I get to work with who I want to work with and I make a lot of money. What do you mean by freedom? And when you define that for me and you give me that idea, tell me what are some of these sacrifices we're making that are not necessary to make in this industry we've just become convinced. So start with, what does freedom mean when you talk about that word? What are you talking about?
It's interesting because lots of people talk about time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom. And I don't know anybody who has really created it in the real estate space at a high level that it's sustained outside of a rev share model business. Not saying it doesn't exist. I don't know everybody by any
Yeah,
means.
sure.
But whatever that rev share model is, that's the pathway to freedom.
Hmm.
And you asked me a question a minute ago, and I just want to go back there real quick, and we'll come back here just for a hot second because you said if somebody's looking at a team or on a team or whatever, I think that we need to be talking to the team leaders
Hmm.
because they're the ones that are fighting the lonely battle.
Hmm.
They're the ones that have to put on the show every day when they're going broke. They're the ones that are footing a $50,000 a month overhead to provide opportunities. They're the ones that are trying to figure out how they're going to pay their light bill. They're not saying it because they can't say it because then everybody will think they're failing.
Hmm.
And I think that our industry has done a really, really, really bad job of casting a vision that's not accurate. And I think if people are really honest, if they'll just get really like in the bathroom, just them in the mirror and look at themselves, I can tell you almost every team leader that I know at some point or another that if they were honest has said to me, or I know for sure said to themselves, why am I doing this?
Hmm.
What I'm making less money than I ever made. I had it the best I ever had it when I sold 20 or 30 houses by myself with an assistant. What am I doing? And it's
Hmm.
like they just can't get out of that identity. It's like an identity crisis because they're the team leader and they're on the stage, and I'm traveling around the country, winning awards on a stage. Meanwhile, my team's in shambles. I didn't even know, right?
Hmm.
I mean, so I think that we need to be really championing open conversations with team leaders,
Hmm.
because team leaders are the ones that are they're carrying the burdens of these brokerages. These brokerages are going through all sorts of changes right now, and all of it comes back to the big dogs, right?
Hmm.
These businesses, these brokerages have been built on the back of the teams. So the team leader is in between the broker and the agent, if you really think about it. And
Hmm.
they're stuck in the middle.
Hmm.
And they have onus to the agents, they have onus to the broker. The broker's giving them sweetheart deals. I mean, there's just all of this stuff going on. And these team leaders out there right now, man, I mean, they're hurting. And they need to know that there's people out there that are willing to help them, because it is a lonely place. And you and I have both been there.
Hmm. So
And
good.
there was nobody standing in front of me to say, let me help you. You know who was standing in
Hmm.
front of me? A coach going, you need to leverage more. You need to buy more leads. You need to spend more money. You need to do this, and you need to get another ISA. And that's how you'll get out. That's who you need.
Hmm.
That's not what you need. You need to create a path for and relationships. I don't care if anybody takes anything else away from this call.
Hmm.
You have to learn to create and relationships, and honest and relationships, not what you say are and relationships. Oh, I'm giving them the business and they get to go and show all these houses. No, an and relationship. Can they grow bigger than you in exactly what you have right now? And almost
Hmm.
always the answer is no.
Man, it's
That's
good,
not an
man.
and relationship.
It's so good, Jason. I was running, and I've talked about it on the show before, but what we called the Think Bigger Mastermind for 3 years when I was KW, and it was the top agents in Virginia and North Carolina. It was amazing. We had, Gary Keller streaming in, who's brilliant, and all these top people that were coming to teach this group. I mean, the group of 35 people represented almost $1 billion in real estate, and they were running big teams. These are they're amazing people, amazing business owners, right? And so I started to do what I saw everybody doing, and I started adding agents. Now, it wasn't as big as you, but it was 4 agents. I had 3 full-time admin. Get to the point where, to your point, I asked myself, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? Thankfully for me, relatively early on, realized I'm trying to create freedom for myself. That's why I did it. But I looked around and was like, all my buddies, none of them have freedom. So that can't be the right answer. And so I created for myself. I let everybody go except one agent who was an A-plus player, kept my A-plus transaction coordinator. The 3 of us ran it, and I gave him all the business. Jesse, everybody's heard me talk about him on the show. Gave it to Jesse, who's amazing. I've never heard it said that way, but it's exactly what you said. An and relationship, right? Where he and I work together. He runs the day-to-day. I create deals. I oversee it, but he's really running the day-to-day along with our transaction coordinator. And it's an amazing opportunity for him. It's an amazing opportunity for me. Frees me up. He actually made more than I did last year by a little bit, which is awesome. Praise God, because he bought all of my time back, right? And I get to go do whatever I want to do now. And the Lord is gracious in that. And so I realized that what everybody was going for was freedom, right? The ability to do what I want, when I want, with who I want. And in a good way. I think that's a good thing that we're in pursuit of those things. Ultimate freedom in Christ, right? But it's a good thing. I looked and said, it's not working for them, and they run much bigger, more complicated businesses than I could ever understand. There's got to be a different way, and was able to find that, right? And I'm thankful for that. I think what you're talking about in the organization is even greater way, right? Where it's not dependent on one person, because I hope Jesse one day leaves because it's better for his family, right? I need him to do that whenever it gets to be better for his family. But then I got to go figure that out, right? The organization gives you that opportunity. So as we talk about team leaders, and I think you're right to point towards them, because it is true. When I was building that out and building the team, I was doing it because a coach who was really smart said, you got to start investing in this. You got to bring in these people. You got to, oh, okay. I'm just going to do it, right? I'm trying to be a good soldier. I'm trying to figure it out. I'll do those things. Rarely was someone telling me, and no one actually told me. In fact, when I said, I'm going to try to figure out with one agent how to get out of production, everyone around me said that's not going to be possible, right? And so it's this narrative of freedom's not there. You got to find it in big, massive team where you can step out of it, right? When agents, again, and let's get into this definition of freedom. I love that you went back there, but this definition of freedom that they're struggling with, what does or should that mean? We can't tell them, right? But what should that mean to a real estate agent? A real estate agent who's been in for less than 5 years, Jason, who's like, I'm just trying to make $100K right now. That's my goal. What are you talking about freedom for, right? What does that look like? And why does it matter? We talk team leaders. Now we're going to talk to these agents. Why does it matter that agent less than 5 years in is thinking about freedom already? Why would that matter to them? And what does that look like? What kind of steps do they need to take?
It's funny as you're talking, I have a new thing that I'm going to say, and equals freedom.
It's good.
And equals freedom. And relationships equals freedom. So thank you. You didn't even know. Like, I'm just sitting here. I'm like, dude, that's like,
it's awesome.
That's
I love it, man.
That's,
I love
that's
it.
Really,
Do it.
Look, very few people are going to sell everything they have, move their family into an RV, and pull out of their driveway. I mean, that's
Sure.
like we kind of pushed it all the way to the end. But the truth of the matter is, I was so broken that I just didn't care. Right? I was willing to go work at Chick-fil-A. I didn't care. I just didn't care. And what I've realized is we still work. Right? I still host calls all the time. I still work because we're called to work.
Yeah.
Right. God gave, I wanted to quit. I wanted to quit it all. Like, I was out of real estate. I was never doing it again, whatever. God would never let me out. He would just never let me out. But I think freedom is being able to go to a ball game with your phone off. Freedom is being able to sit in church and not give out showing instructions. Everybody's going to have a different definition of it. So my definition isn't your definition, and yours isn't Steve and Mary's, and so down the list.
Yeah.
But I think not walking down the hallway and feeling like you're going to panic when something buzzes or dings in your pocket, that's freedom. Right? And having enough business that if a deal doesn't happen, you're fine. That's freedom. So freedom is a very, they can mean all sorts of things to people. Freedom for us is we can go anywhere we want to go, anytime we want to go, and stay as long as we want to stay. I mean, that's the ultimate freedom. And EXP's helped me create all of that, right? So we have complete location freedom. I'm sitting in Texas right now on a beautiful ranch. We're having some work done to our RV. We met some people traveling. They opened their home to us. I'm sitting in their dining room right now. That's freedom. That's location freedom, right? And the people that we've met because of it. We do not have complete financial freedom, but we're not awful far from it. And that's the thing is, I don't think people think they can do it because right now they're trying to figure out where they're getting the next deal. And I go back to what I said earlier. Nobody is teaching these agents how to grow a real estate business. They're teaching them to fill out a contract. They're teaching them to fill out a listing agreement. Well, what difference does that make if you don't have a buyer or a listing? It doesn't. Right? Yeah. So locking arms with people like yourself that are going to teach you to grow a business that's sustainable, right? I have multiple agents that I mentor that take off, a month, 6 weeks in a year. No phones, no text messages. They come home and their business grew. And people just think it's not possible. That's stupid. It's why do you want to take your laptop and go work on a beautiful beach while your family's playing in the pool in the spirit of like, hey, I took you on vacation? That's stupid. I'm sorry, it's stupid. Right? But it's what we've been told, and that does not have to be true. That is not truth, actually. It's most people's reality, because that's what they've allowed their business to become because they don't have a business. So if they don't get the deal, they're not even paying for the vacation they're on. Versus if you do these activities and you have a consistent game plan and you lock arms with people like yourself that are going to show them how to grow a business, you can have an amazing life selling 15 or 20 houses a year in most markets.
It's good. Yeah.
right? 15 or
Yep.
20 houses. If you do that 3 years in a row, by the third year, you're working less than 20 hours a week. Guarantee it.
Yeah.
First year, you're probably working more than 40. Second year, you're probably going to be working 30 to 40. Third year, if you keep exactly the same transaction count, it's way less effort. But guess what? It'll organically grow anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
But nobody can teach them how to get to 12. 12 is the hardest number in 1 year. 12 deals, 1 year, hardest year you'll ever have in real estate.
Why
After
is
that,
Yeah.
because everything's hard. How do you negotiate? It's hard. You haven't negotiated
True.
a bunch. How do you fill out a listing report? It's hard. How do you type in this? It's hard. Everything's hard. And then all of a sudden it gets easy. And then you get to 12 and you're like, hey, I got a few extra bucks. I could hire a transaction coordinator, or I could do, whatever the situation is. But nobody's sitting with these people. Their businesses, and this is true for every single level. I don't care what level it is, from a new agent to a broker owner, team leader, their business can only grow based on the questions they know to ask.
It's good.
Period. And there's nothing new. That's why you can lock arms with somebody and say, this is the steps. Now, if you want to do the work, you can get the results. It's guaranteed. People think real estate's feast or famine. It's the most predictable, guaranteed income you can ever earn if you're willing to do the work. Now, what's the work? That's where you got to find great partners. And this is where the and relationship comes into play. This is where the freedom comes into play, that you can go to church and not have to, check your text messages at church. This is where you can go to your kid's ball game on Friday night and turn your phone off because you have enough business that everything will be just fine. And it'll be fine even if you don't have enough business. But we live such a reactionary life. We're never free. All we're doing, going back to the very first question, is building our own prison.
So good, man. It's amazing. I'm coaching this agent right now, and a super, super amazing person and amazing producer. And I asked them, what does an ideal vacation look like for you? Right. Because they had told me about working on vacation, doing all these things. And they said, well, probably only working like 10% of the time. And I said, is that the ideal vacation? And they laughed and they're like, yeah. And I said, well, if I asked your spouse, what would they say? And they're like, well, they would say that I'm off my phone the entire time. Right. And so to your point, it's become this, and I'm glad you brought it up, because I talk about we need to stop being agents and start being business owners, right? The way that we think, the way that we pursue. I love that you're talking about, the 15 to 20 a year. You can have a great life doing that. I've become convinced, Jason, that the industry is convinced and tries to convince us that every agent should want a big, massive business, a big team, more money, more rankings, all the things. When I think like 95% of us think, if I could have a good business that makes good money with as much time freedom as possible, that's what I want. I've said no to a lot of things because right now I've got so much time freedom. The Lord's gracious. I'm like, I don't want to give that up. Even if I could make more money, I don't want to give that up. Right? Why? Because I'm here knee deep with 5 kids and poopy diapers, right? Probably the most explicit thing I've said on the show ever is poopy diapers. And I'm right in the middle of it. And I don't want to go anywhere, right? Money is not worth it for you, right? And I've met your kids. We played pickleball and they're better than me, which is unfortunate because I'm old. So I should be better, right? But they're great kids. And so the reality is you are right where you want to be with them. No money is going to make that better. No money is going to change that. No ranking is going to make your kids love you more or think more highly of the years that they missed daddy because daddy was just out trying to be the number one agent, so it's okay, right? Like those things are not worthwhile trade-offs, and the industry has been telling us for decades it's just what is required. And to your point, it is if you don't have the end relationships, it is if you don't learn how to think and operate like a business owner and you stay stuck in the agent mentality. And that's a dangerous place for us to be. And I fear that's where most of us are, right? For an agent who is listening right now, Jason, that maybe feels successful on paper, maybe like you did, but is exhausted in real estate or burnout, what do you want to say to that person?
Just don't quit. I wish I would have never quit. I'm grateful for what I did, but I could have done it differently. And if you've been in the business 3 or 4 years, quitting's pretty easy because a lot of times you don't have enough that you're walking. You're just like, I got to go eat, right? I still think the conversations that we need to be having are with the team leaders and the broker owners, because then it trickles down into their sphere of influence and they have the impact in these people's lives. I'm just telling you, I believe wholeheartedly that's where these conversations need to stem. And it's all about helping anybody that wants to listen. But if you're a team leader, if you're a broker owner listening to this, it's okay that it sucks. It's okay that it's hard. Just raise your hand. It's okay to tell people that you're broke. It's okay to tell people your business is losing money. We already know. It's more common than everybody thinks. But when you're inside that wall and you think I've got this whole thing going and I'm the number one and I'm the this and the paying all this and doing all that, like, you guys, this industry creates divorce, addictions, infidelity. I mean, just the list goes on. And dude, all we're doing is opening doors. Do you like the kitchen? Somehow or another, that's turned into this crazy out of touch reality that we have to drive around in a Bentley and have $6,000 shoes and a designer purse and jump on TikTok going, bat, 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 bat. That's your thing. Awesome. Go do it. But that's not serving your soul. That's not serving who you are. And I believe we have a responsibility, and that's my message. You've heard me speak. I mean, this is my message. Like, this is my message. And I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time before you wake up one day and go, I don't want to do this anymore. Don't quit. Raise your hand, put your ego in check, and reach out to somebody that you know is willing to be honest. I'm very blessed that I had some friends that were really honest with me. And they're like, dude, I'm not making any money either. Just so you know. Like my business, so we got behind the curtains and had some of those honest conversations. And I'm not saying everybody's not making money, but there's a cost. And if you go back to creating and relationships, you get to limit all of your liability, all of your obligations, and all you're doing is helping people that are begging to get in your boat. And when you're dealing with people that are begging to get in your boat every day, life changes. You have tons of energy. You have tons of willingness to help people because you're not begging them. They're begging you. And anybody that's a team leader spends the majority of their time begging their agents to call people back. Right? And so what if the people were begging you to be like, hey, can you please help me? And I'll do whatever you say. That's who I spend time with. And if they don't, next. I can't save you. But the people that are allowing me to do that, every one of their lives have changed. Every one of them. I got a mom. She works 25 hours a week. She'll make multiple six figures this year. She's a stay-at-home mom first.
That's awesome.
A realtor second. And that makes my heart proud because when we first started spending time together, she was stressed out because this person was doing this and this person was doing that. I go, who cares? Is that what you want? And guess what? Her business has organically grown every single year. And she's been a mom first.
So good. As she should be.
That's right. Absolutely.
There is a biblical command, and it's not to sell 20 homes a year.
That's right.
To be a mom.
Which, by the way, she'll sell more than that working 25 hours a week.
It's awesome.
I mean, it's so you can have it, but nobody's teaching people to do it, right? So it's just an industry thing, and I mean, it's like I'm on fire about this topic right now. So I don't know whether you got me at a good time to be on your show or not a good time because I'm telling you, I am telling you, I know how many people are hurting. Look, 70% of our industry sold 0 or 1 house in 2025. I mean, what does that tell you? Right? You see all these mergers happening. You have all this noise, all this stuff. People are afraid. Our industry is changing like it's ever changed. And by the way, it is 29 flipping years I've been in this business. I can't even believe I can say that out loud. I'm the old guy. When I was I'm that guy now, right?
Right.
But the reality of it is I'm willing to say what very few people are willing to say. And that's what we're talking about right now. Nobody wants to say this out loud. You think the people that wrote the Millionaire Real Estate Agent model would be like, hey, that model doesn't work. It sucks. It failed. Right. No.
Of course not.
No, you need to do more of it. You need to scale. You need to pivot. What all those stupid words? What if you just did less and made more money? And then you helped other people because you need three things. You need three things to fulfill your life. You need somebody you're chasing, you need somebody who's giving you a hand up, and you need somebody you're giving a hand up to.
Hmm.
And if you're checking all three of those boxes on a regular basis, your life is fulfilled, personal or professional. You need those three things.
Say them again, Jason.
You need somebody that you're chasing, you need somebody who's giving you a hand up, and you need to be giving somebody a hand up.
Hmm.
And that's what makes, in my opinion, EXP such an amazing place. Is that's exactly how it's built. You have access to the top real estate agents in the country for free. You have people going, here's your hand, here's my hand. What do you need? You need this form, you need this market. Here, just have it. And then they incentivize us to reach down and help other people.
Hmm.
Hello, how does it get any better than that?
Hmm.
Right? And people like, oh, it's a multi-level marketing. So what?
Yeah. Great. And it
Right?
benefits every agent that's involved. Right.
Yeah. So all these
Yep.
agents get my time for free. Boy, that's no benefit. It'd be much better if I charged them
Mm-hmm.
for me, but not for them.
Hmm.
Because you know what? They couldn't afford to pay me.
Hmm.
So guess what? They wouldn't get it. Now they get everything in my brain, everything in my Dropbox, everything that we've created inside our organization. Here, you can just have it.
Hmm.
Now you got to go use it. But you want to know what's really cool? I'll tell you exactly how to use it in what order.
Hmm.
Just like you will.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And
Just the
that's,
other day. Oh, go ahead, buddy.
as I say, and that's the beauty of it. People do not understand the true impact of what we've built and what we're building.
Hmm.
And whether it's EXP or Real or LPT, whatever the rev share model is, rev share equals love.
Hmm.
Because it gives us an ability to impact the world in a way that I could have never dreamed possible.
Hmm.
The reach that I have because of revenue share, I could have never replicated on my own. Ever.
Hmm.
Ever, 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 ever. And the people that reach out to me and say, man, you helped me this, you helped this, you did this, like it, you see it, you have those same phone calls,
Hmm.
right? Well, guess what? I won too.
Hmm.
I won by helping you win. You did? I did.
Hmm.
That's why I'm here. Like it's anyway, sorry, I totally digressed off our conversation, but it's
No,
just
good.
it's so powerful. And that's how you create freedom is you get around
Hmm.
people who are free. And I'll
Hmm.
tell you right now, there's very few free people in the real estate industry. If you're honest and you look up, how many of those team leaders are free? How many of those broker owners are free? How many of those top producers are free? Free. Time, location, financial. Completely free.
Hmm.
It's a very, very, very small number.
That's good, man. Man, I love so many things, right? We'll just listen, just go replay, but instead of me talking, just replay that last part. I love what you said too. I'll just reiterate. If you are feeling that, just raise your hand. Text me, text Jason, 804-878-2200. Jason, how would they get a hold of you, buddy?
Just through Garrett. If you need
Cool.
me, get
All
all
right,
of through
message
Garrett.
me. We'll get connected with Jason. We want to help and support, if Faithful Agents, you've rarely heard me, if ever, talk about EXP on here. That's not why we're here. But, more than anything, your spiritual freedom is what matters, right? Knowing Christ is what matters. But while we're here, the ability of, I want you to kind of reverse engineer what Jason was sharing. The ability that Jason has because of the EXP model to help others along the path create freedom for themselves and their families. The joy as a believer to be able to reach out and serve others in their world. What a gift and a blessing that is, not only to him and his family, but to those that he gets to serve. That's the goal that we should all have. I'm not saying all the Christian agents need to be at EXP in a rev share model, right? Scripture doesn't say that. I'm not going to say that. But the reality is that's what we're talking about. Exactly what Jason shared. I've experienced the same thing. The beauty of saying, I had someone recently, Jason said, I want to hire you to coach me one-on-one at $1,400 a month. And they were paying their broker 50 grand. I said, don't pay them 50 grand and me, whatever, 18 grand. Come over here, pay 16 and I'll help you. Right? Like I want to save you 50 grand and I still want to help you and I don't want to charge you a dime. That doesn't exist other places. And it's out of a heart and a desire to serve and pour into others, which is what you have. And so raise your hand, agents. We want to help you and serve you in any way that we can. And that might not be with us. It might be somewhere else. But there's a lot of agents, to your point, Jason, that are hurting, that just need someone to come alongside them and support them. And Jason is such a great example of that side-by-side love and encouragement. So, man, you said at the beginning, this is not going to be a 25-minute episode. I love it. We could talk for an amazingly long time. The irony is I am literally getting ready to go to a baseball game with some of my EXP brothers that are in our organization, and I'm turning my phone off. It's exactly what you said, man. And so we're going to go live that out.
Freedom.
You're going to go live that out. That is freedom. Man, anyways, buddy, I love you, brother.
Can I add one thing?
Please do. Yeah, take us out.
You're welcome to follow us on all social media platforms. We have a YouTube channel. We have a Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's all just the Shinpaughs. It's my last name. And I'd love for you guys to check out. You can see who we are and what we're all about. But it's really cool because our YouTube channel has just fostered these amazing relationships. The home that I'm sitting in right now was somebody that I met through our YouTube channel.
That's cool.
And the ability for us to share our faith and what we're able to do because of that, because of the EXP platform, like it's a wonderful thing. You guys, please, please, please don't be alone and don't be hurting. You don't have anything to be afraid of. I'm going to tell you right now, pick up the phone. Let us help you. Let us connect. There's no pressure. There's no expectations. Don't ever join EXP. Stay where you are. I don't care. Just don't be alone and don't be hurting right now because it's the truth. So I'll leave you with that.
Amen. It's good. Jason Shinpaugh, thank you for coming on, buddy. Faithful agents, we love you, and we will see you next week. Hey, Christian agent, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If it resonated, would you take 30 seconds and share it with another agent who's also trying to grow their business without losing their faith, family, or peace? That's how this message spreads. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future episodes. I release new ones each Thursday to help you build success that actually lasts. It genuinely fires me up knowing this podcast is helping you pursue excellence to the glory of God, both at work and at home. I'll meet you back here next week for another episode of The Faithful Agent.